Hello, Kansas and Western fans. It's time for today's poll results and work plan video for the next couple of weeks. And one thing that I failed to mention Friday was this poll this weekend is probably going to be the last for a month because my wife and I are going to be taking our kind of typical summer vacation here in a couple of weeks. Not sure exactly when, which dates, or anything like that. Or how long, but I think I'm going to just take a break from everything after this first 2 weeks just to enjoy a relaxing vacation. So probably won't post any videos or anything like that. I should be back online around July 20th or something like that, I think. So just want to give everybody a heads up on that. Anyway, for the next 2 weeks, though, I'm going to see what I can get done on the El Dorado Industrial Park and Rail Yard, which you can see there, won by a landslide. I thank everybody of the 103 votes that participated and shared your thoughts on that. So let's move over to the train room and talk about that. All right, so here we have the El Dorado Rail Yard here in the foreground and Industrial Park, which is made up of these three industries that are all fairly close together in reality. We've got BG Products here, which is neighbored by Barton Solvents, and then down here a little bit ways, in reality maybe a mile away, Mears Fertilizer. So this is the scene that we're talking about. Obviously I'm going to get rid of the pink foam, and by doing that we're going to do the spray overcoat on all the tracks, which gets rid of the plastic color of the ties and paints the webbing on the sides of the rails, so it's easier just to do the rust color that I like to do on the rails, and then we can come back and do the weathering, and obviously add some ballast. For these separate industries, you can see I already have some structure built. I need to add some more. Like Barton Solvents doesn't have any kind of an actual building, so that's the point of this Pike Stuff kit here, to add a building in the background here. I think I might just do a building facing, like a single wall up against the backdrop. There's not a lot of room in this scene to do too much. And we're going to go on to Google Earth here in a second, and I'm going to show you the differences between these two industries and how I plan to represent those. I want to get all these loading racks built, so for operations I've got a place to actually spot these cars, like this one here. I'm going to have two of those loading racks for each industry here. I might mess around a little bit here with this transition point. I'm going to modify this joint here, probably cut it out a little bit to make kind of a low depression area, maybe add a culvert underneath the tracks, just to add some little bit of scene differentiation here as we divide BG or Barton Solvents here from Mears down here. This structure here is going to be a total rebuild. I need to design that before I do that, so we're going to just let this stand in for now. But in the meantime, I can go ahead and definitely start working on the track, get all this ground, this pink foam eliminated, painted. Might add a fascia, I'm not sure about that yet, but and then one other thing I'm going to do, this plastic or this styrene has been laying here forever. I plan to do a lot of concrete in these two areas. The tracks themselves are ballasted. There's not concrete like between the rails or anything like that, but it is a good portion of concrete between the tracks and the industry for a lot of obvious reasons. So I think we're going to do a lot of that styrene there. So that's the point of that. Anyway, that's the plan here for the next couple of weeks. Let's go into the train room and take a closer look at the reality for these three industries. I think I said train room, I meant the office. All right, here we are on Google Earth, and you can see Wichita centered in the frame here. Just off to the east, about 20 miles, is El Dorado, and the three industries that we're talking about are located just on the west side of town as I zoom in here. And as you can see, blown up a little bit, this is Mears on a larger scale, or more bird's eye view, and then up here you can see BG Products and Barton Solvents right next to each other. So back here for Mears, just to zoom in a little bit more, you can see it's got three service tracks where there's an actual loading track. You can see the shelter that they have for loading, and then a couple of other tracks for setting cars out. Back here is where it joins the main. Now I have been to the site, and there is a derailleur somewhere in this location just to protect the main line. So I do plan to add one of those. It's one of those flipping type derailleurs. And you can see all the different structures that Mears has. I do plan to add more to that scene for Mears. I just haven't decided what type of structures to use, kits or kit bash or anything like that. So I do plan to add some more. But you can see the shadow here for that main conveyor, I guess that is, that vertical conveyor. This is what it is right here, how tall it is. I think in reality it's probably about 80 feet high, maybe 100. So I want to add that imposing structure to the kit, to that structure. So that's why I want to redo that thing. But anyway, moving down the main line, you can see it up here at the top, not too far. That's where you have BG Products, which is right here, I believe, and then Barton's. No, BG is on this. BG's over here on this side, and then Barton is here. I've got it flipped on my layout because we're coming from a different direction, but I've kept the order the same, where you have Mears and then Barton and then BG. Now you can see they both have their own individual single track spur that comes off the main line. What I've been told by a conductor that actually runs this train is there is a derail here, and this is one of the derails where it's a turnout that just ends. So if a car tries to roll in this direction towards the main line and the derail is in place, it just runs it right off the track. I'm not sure I can reproduce that. Maybe I can. I think I've seen those on layouts where it's just a turnout that's just been dismantled to the point where a car would just run off. I'm not sure if that's something you want to add before you lay the track, or if you can just add it after the fact. That might be something cool to try to model, so I'm thinking about that. But then this person's told me that there are also individual derails for each spur. So we'll add those. This is like a drainage catch area here. I don't really have enough track or enough space between tracks to add that, but you can see BG has tanks immediately off of the tracks, and then a kind of a transfer piping that goes back to the facility itself. And then Barton here has basically just a long loading rack. I think from photos I've seen, and they're actual mobile racks, or not mobile racks, but mobile catwalks where they can roll them up and down as needed to hook up to the cars. And then it must be all buried piping or something, because there's not really anything obvious. And then you got a series of tanks here, and then the main facility in this area. So that's the prototypes of what I'm trying to model in that area. I'm going to try to at least incorporate some of the details from the prototypes into the model, but at least I do have some pretty good idea as to how things look in reality, so I have something to model from. So I guess that's it for now. We're going to see how much work I can get done here in the next couple of weeks. I'll do a follow-up, a typical construction update, but there will not be a poll for the next 2 weeks. I'll probably continue work on this scene until, through vacation or whatever here and there, but I'm not going to have any serious plan to get much done. We're just going to take a couple weeks off and then get back with you guys. So we'll see what happens, or see what I get done here in a couple weeks, and I'll check back in with you then. Thanks for watching.